guys, so today I wanted to talk about bad practice sessions. And I don't mean ones where you're practicing badly, but I mean the ones that are just incredibly frustrating. It feels like you're not doing anything effective, and it just feels like you're not using your time right. And it's not to say that you're not doing the right things, it's just not working. And everyone has them. I had one today, and it was just one of these moments where I was like, why is this not working? I've practiced this. I know I can play this piece. Why can't I do it right now? And I had to step back and kind of use all of my tactics and manage to retrieve the session and revive it. And in the end, it was quite effective, but it was just incredibly frustrating at first. And I want to talk about that. So the first thing that I always do is just take a break. Like literally put my instrument down, go get a drink of water, go get something to eat if I haven't eaten a lot that day, and just sit and scroll through Tumblr and just do something that has nothing to do with flute. And I schedule these breaks into my session no matter what, but sometimes I'm on a roll and I go a little bit too long and suddenly everything isn't working again. And so the first fix that I always try is just stop and take a second and reset. Practice breaks are incredibly important no matter whether you're frustrated or not, but when you're especially frustrated, they can be the key to saving your session. I would rather take 5 minutes to not play flute and then have 20 minutes of effective practice than play for 25 minutes and not do anything. It's part of because I have very little time to practice during the week because I work full time, but it's also just a matter of I want to do the most I can in what I have, and taking those breaks will help me be better in the grand scheme of things. The next thing that I do is just play something else. Usually it's something else that I'm working on. I'm always kind of learning multiple pieces at the same time because I have other gigs away from 52 weeks that have rep that I have to learn. And I also learn things for fun because I am a music nerd and I love flute. But just taking a second to go play something that I know I can do or that is not as frustrating for me at the time can be really helpful. It just kind of gets me back into the mindset of like, I know how to play flute, I'm good at flute, and practicing is something that I enjoy doing at this point. Whether that's just playing Griffith's poem because I love that piece and it makes me happy, or working on something for the Un-12 call that just has a different challenge that maybe my brain is better at focusing on that day. And that's the thing, sometimes your brain is just not in a place where you can work on the thing that you wanted to work on. And changing gears can help you save a frustrating practice session, and that's still effective practice. You're still doing things that you need to do and you're still getting better. You're just changing gears a little bit to suit the needs of that day. And maybe after a few minutes or more, you can go back to the original thing you were working on and your brain has kind of adapted to what you wanted to do and it works a little better. And maybe not. But either way, you're still practicing something and you're doing something effectively. And that's the point. You don't want to waste your time. The last big thing that I usually do is just stop and play technique. If I'm really struggling that day and I just can't do anything that I want to, I just go to the basics and work from there. Because honestly, if I can't work on what I need to that day, I'd rather spend 20 minutes on technique, help my building blocks get better and stronger, because maybe that's what I'm struggling with in the piece. Maybe that's why I can't learn it quickly, because the structure that I'm building it from is unstable. So if I'm working on a particular run or a specific thing, I find an etude or just a technical exercise that kind of focuses on that but doesn't really like hammer it into my head, and work on that and focus on that. And again, maybe I can go back to what I was working on originally and maybe I can't, but no matter what, I'm still practicing effectively and I'm doing something productive and my time doesn't feel like it's been wasted. Because I think that's what the most problematic thing about these bad sessions is it feels like you wasted your time. It feels like you didn't do anything. So to fix that, you have to find ways to do something with the mental state that you have and the time that you have. The 52 weeks model creates a lot more frustration for me because things that I normally can play, I have a lot of pressure to suddenly play. And sometimes it's just, there's so much tension and so much pressure from myself to play it perfectly that I just can't. And stepping back and realizing that, no, this is all in my head. I'm just really frustrated and I'm really tired and I need to stop and I need to do something else for a while is exactly what I need. A lot of the times our biggest critics and the biggest sources of frustration are ourselves. We have incredibly high standards for ourselves as musicians, and while that's great and it can help motivate you, it can also create these tensions and these frustrations in your practicing. And being able to acknowledge that and finding ways around that is incredibly important, because if not, you're just gonna burn out or you're gonna get carpal tunnel or tendonitis because you're like literally so tense. That's another thing, is stretching and just taking a second to relax. Like, I know I talked about taking breaks, but just literally stretching for a second can also really help. Stretch out your shoulders, stretch out your wrists and your neck, and release the tension in your shoulders, and then go back to what you're doing. Taking that second to release the pressure can really, really help your focus, and can also just remind yourself that this is fun. Most of us are musicians because we love it, not because we were told we should be. And that's what makes it fun, is we get to do what we love every day. And yes, it is stressful at times, but that reminder that you love what you're doing can really help. Don't be discouraged if you have frustrating practice sessions or they don't go well. It's part of what we go through as musicians. But being able to identify that you're having a bad session and having tactics to rectify it in some way and at least salvage some of your time is really, really important. I hope these ideas help a little bit in helping you guys get through bad practice sessions. Clearly they work for me. As always, if you like this video, please give it a like. If you're new here, subscribe. If you want to support me more, please check out my Patreon, and I'll see you guys on Thursday.